lovely evening and welcome yet again to Love Therapy. I want to believe that up to this time, we are already in shape and we know what we are doing on this program. There's quite a lot to explore, there's quite a lot to learn, and there's quite a lot to unlearn on this platform. I'm Bright Sinkozi, your host on the program. Like always, my guest is Dr. Daniel Chuunga, our counselor on this program. Now, when we started this program, we did ask ourselves what was God's intention for marriage. And you want to agree with me that there is quite a lot that God has put in place for a union of two people, that is male and female. But along the way, like we did indicate in another episode, we said there was a deviation. People now chose to go in a different direction than God intended it to be. And one of the things that happen in marriages today is divorce. The painful reality is that in this area, we have seen a number of people going a separate way, even after committing to one another and said, for better, for worse. But then when you choose to call it quits, what happens? Are there effects when you choose to go your separate ways? I did ask Dr. Chuunga in the other episode, when we see what happens on social media, you present your situation and the first thing somebody's going to tell you is, run as fast as you can. Is that how it should be? Well, we get to know more about this on this program, and that's why we are discussing effects of divorce. Dr. Chuunga, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Bright. I'm delighted to be part of this program again.
Yes, indeed.
Talking about effects that come up on a couple as a result of divorce. Sure. We can delve into this discussion, definitely.
We should be able to get into that, but even before we get to that, I know I didn't prepare you for this, but allow me to ask one cheeky question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, marriage is meant to be sweet, like you did indicate in the very initial episode of this program. And if marriage is meant to be sweet, in an event, it becomes bitter. Do I have the luxury to spit out the bittersweet?
Sometimes you have to swallow it. Well, basically, marriage is supposed to be an enjoyable relationship. But you know, with the coming of sin in this world,
yeah,
even good things are distorted. So even when some situations that sound bad happen to a couple, yes, there are options.
Okay.
They can forgive, tolerate, endure, or they can say, let us go separate ways.
They can say.
A human being has to make a choice.
Okay.
At the end of the day. But now, the reality of marriage, every home has turbulences. It all depends to what degree. And the best out of it all is to learn to adjust and resolve those issues.
All right.
Once that is done, then the couple can move on.
Okay.
So it's not a smooth road.
It's never been.
Not a royal road. There are potholes. There are detours. There are also
speed humps.
Yeah, speed traps are there. There are punctures when they were.
Right. So in an event that I choose not to forgive, I choose not to endure, I choose not to tolerate, but I say, this I can't do.
Oh yeah, you can divorce.
Okay.
But that divorce should be based on something factual.
Okay.
And you know, you cannot simply say, I think my wife is not doing well. I'm going to divorce her. Meanwhile, you have plan B. You have already committed yourself to another woman.
Isn't it always...
You just want to use this as a scapegoat.
A scapegoat, yeah. But isn't it always that most of the times when somebody is choosing the right of calling it quits, it's because they have something better.
No,
they think they have something better.
Yeah, some think they may not have, or they may wish to have something better. But sometimes in life, you can come from a frying pan into the fire. You even wish,
I wish I stayed back.
The first broom was better. It knew how to clean in all corners.
And like the Mosaic law, as we outlined last week, you did read from the Bible, and you said when you send her packing, you can't take her back.
Yes, that would be defiling her or him. That would be a violation. Now, it's true. There are some couples who have ended up divorcing.
Right.
And they go separate ways. Probably the wife gets remarried, the husband remarried. Sometimes where they have gone, it's so bad that they wish they could come back and join together. But sometimes because of pride and because someone has gone too far, they can't do that.
We have seen a situation where in an event somebody has chosen to go, the couple have agreed we are going to go separate ways, and like you did indicate, they marry, either of them marries, and then when they realize things are bad, they choose to come back together. No, they don't choose, but then you know this time around, it's a fact in the church, especially our Adventist church, we encourage that somebody should get back to their real wife, which was the first wife, or their real husband, which was the first husband. Would we allow a situation that these people should come back together and then we let them continue as a church? I'm asking you because you are a clergy despite being a counselor.
If the two were married and they divorce,
right?
If they divorce based on grounds of adultery by either spouse, the innocent one is free to remarry.
Okay.
However, if they divorce either in a court or traditionally, and maybe both of them have not married, and they decide to reconcile, there is no violation of any law. They can come together. But the challenge is, if the woman has remarried, the man has remarried, if they are remarrying, maybe they displaced another man, another woman, and that one who was displaced is not yet remarried. If they decide to leave, it means they are committing adultery wherever they are. So if they decide to reconcile with the earlier spouse, it's fine.
That's fine.
However, in an event, people just separate based on sort, based on the relatives, and other financial challenges. That does not give a biblical mandate for one to remarry.
Right. So you have to stay single the rest of your life if you can't come back.
Yes, this is why. Even when differences arise in a family, divorce is not the best option. It has severe effects either way, whether you are innocent or whether you are guilty.
And that's why we are discussing effects of divorce in today's episode. So you'd love to bring it on?
Yes, let me bring it on.
Sure.
Here is a couple. They have failed to live on together.
Right.
They have sought counseling, but in vain. There is no reformation. Whatever ground of divorce, the two cannot just stay together. We cannot force such a couple to stay together. We can't. They have to make
It's a
their own
choice.
decision. If there is adultery involved, the innocent party can either decide to divorce or to forgive and stay on and move on. But in the event a couple divorces, they must be ready for the consequences of divorce.
Okay.
Divorce has got its own pain. The first effect that you will discover in a couple is that the couple themselves will be affected. Emotionally, they will be just devastated. Whether the husband is innocent or the wife is innocent, the fact that the two have agreed to divorce, they will feel the pinch of divorce. There will be emotional imbalance. It affects your feelings and your emotions. You can't do away with those.
You can't.
So even when you are innocent, you must know that you are equally affected. If you are the guilty one, wherever you will go, you'll be blaming yourself. I caused this pain in this relationship. And the worst is that there'll be trauma. Either way, they'll be traumatic. And if your partner caused the divorce, and then you are there struggling to settle down, you are going to be hostile to your partner. And it calls for the grace of God for either one of them to forgive you. That pain will be there. Even when you are innocent with all your rights, you just brusque and say, I'm gonna quit. Yes, you may say so, but the effects, the pinch, will be felt.
Could it be that a number of people that go through the process of divorce really have never been schooled on the effects of divorce? I'm asking this because we did outline to say one needs a counselor, be it traditional or religious, they need a counselor. In the process of counseling, do we prepare people for the after effects in an event that you choose to call it quits?
Well, we may not counsel people who are getting into marriage and then we are giving them...
And should you consider this route?
It's like you are giving them two options. Either it works or it... But we just concentrate on preparing this couple to live on till death do them part.
Okay.
But in the event things don't go well, it's there where they need a counselor to show them the consequences of their choices. Sometimes we don't have a big picture about the effects of divorce. You are just thinking about yourself. Maybe as a man you have found a girlfriend who is adding pressure on you that just divorce that old lady, just divorce, and you are moved by emotion. You may not know the effects that will come. So, for those who are married and are listening to this program, it's an opportunity for them to know that when they divorce, the two of them will feel the pains of separation.
Let's move away from the two of them. Maybe they don't even care, even if they are going to feel the pain. It's okay, they're going to go through that traumatic experience. They don't care. If they are going to be hostile against their partner, it's a former pastor anyway. They say an ex means that they've expired, so they don't even matter. But in an event, for example, there are dependents, there are offsprings in that family. Do you think this has a spillover effect to people that are not actually in the relationship directly?
Now, Bright, divorce has ripple effects.
Okay.
The couple faces it, then it goes also to the children. If at all there are children in this world, children will feel the pinch. Here, maybe they are teenagers. They are just wondering, why is mom and dad not staying together? From nowhere, they see dad is staying alone. and mom is staying alone. Children are trekking from this place to this place. It is bothering them. You may buy them Hungry Lion. You may buy them pizza, but they will be affected. When they go to school, the children will talk about, other children will talk about mom, dad, but for them, mom and dad are not
together.
Not only your children. In African society, we depend on extended families. Those that are dependents on you, we also feel the pinch. If a dependent is coming from the wife's side, when the wife goes, she also goes with her dependents. Same with the husband. You also go away with your dependents. And if children are many, you start now sharing children.
Right.
Okay, who will go? Maybe the youngest can go with the mother. Maybe this boy can go with the father. And that goes on. And here children are being separated. They are shared like bread. Whereas still, if you have 3 children, you have to share one and a half. It's just painful. Divorce has lasting negative effects on a child. You share the children, and depending on their age, some will change schools. They were going to this school because residence was nearer school. From nowhere, they have to change residence. They have to change schools. Teachers are changed. And they ask, why are you taking the child away? You have to explain.
You have to explain. That's a painful experience.
Get disoriented socially. They just get affected. This is why even when you have legitimate reasons to divorce, you must equally have due consideration for your children. If you have physically challenged children, as a couple, you're going to have a battle. Who takes this crippled child? Who takes this child who is has brain damage or so forth? There will be that tug of war. So children will feel the pinch. They will not understand. Why is mom and dad separating? What is it that happened? Worse still, if the mother was involved in adultery or the father, it will spill back to the children. Oh, so mommy was not faithful to our dad. So dad was not faithful to our mother. They will feel bad.
They do. All right.
It is damaging.
Well, this is just one of the things that we have to face, especially on a program like this one. You want to agree with me at this particular time that what has already been established is indicating that certain things are not good in as much as you may choose from a legitimate reason. Love Therapy continues after this. Thank you so much for staying with us on Love Therapy, and the therapy that we are trying to give in today's dosage of Love Therapy is the effects of divorce. When you choose to go separate ways, how does it affect you? But also, how does it affect those within your courts? But let me bring your attention, Doc, to away from this family. Yes, you did mention about the handicapped, the slow learners, for example, and all that. They also suffer effects that are very difficult to handle, after which, because the two of you had a privilege to handle them. But let me bring in maybe another picture in this discussion. When I choose to marry, I involve my family. And she also involves her family. And at that level, we've seen a situation where there is a jailing, there is a bonding between families. Me and my wife's relatives, we relate so very well. And then if we chose to go separate ways, regardless of who was wrong in this particular case, do we see these people also receiving the fire from what we have decided? We are the ones that are in the pot.
Oh yes, it's true. The extended family equally gets affected. Depending on how long the two of you have lived, depending on the bonding with these two extended families. Some may be hostile to you. You have caused damage to our brother or our sister. They will be on you.
Oh yeah.
They will sour relations. But others, they will simply say, well, that is your problem. Children are already in this home. Us, we are still our in-law, we'll still move together. Especially if the husband was the breadwinner and the husband was supporting the family of the wife. Because of money power, sometimes if the husband is good, you continue building a sound relationship with the family of the wife, and vice versa.
Okay.
So, depending on how you fared with the relatives, with the extended family, but at the end of the day, there is this innate thing in us. Because the marriage has broken, and we were going to this home because of our sister or because of our brother or because of our daughter or son, there will be deliberate withdrawal. That how do we now freely go to that home? The one who used to take us there is no longer there. And at the end of the day, the extended family feels the pinch of divorce as well. Not only the extended family. There is a way divorce also affects finances.
Before you get to finances, does the family, the extended family, have a role to play in a way that leads to a couple separating?
Sometimes the family can be cited to be behind the divorce.
Okay.
We have heard in some circles that maybe the family of the husband is being accused of witchcraft. A child has died, another one has died. So it's your family. And or it's the family of the wife. And at the end of the day, that just destroys a home because there's accusation of witchcraft coming from either way.
Okay.
And once that is there, it can lead to divorce. Or probably the parents are interfering in the smooth running of this home.
Okay.
And they are there pushing their daughter or their son, there's nothing for you, leave this guy, blah, blah, why should you suffer, come back, especially if the parents are well-to-do. They would rather say, why are you suffering? Leave that fellow alone, come back. You have your house here. We'll support you.
you are the prodigal son, the prodigal daughter, come back because we have plenty for you.
Oh yes, when you are not economically independent, then the voices of those supporting you will be stronger. To the point that you have to leave that matrimonial home.
Does this then mean, Doc, that when I choose to marry, none of my relatives or my wife's relatives have the right to dictate how we lead our affairs in our home?
Well, they should not dictate.
Okay.
And by the way, most of these family members, most of them don't come directly to us and bring this confusion. It's when the couple themselves, husband and wife, open doors and windows and curtains and air vents.
They begin to export.
That's when relatives find a loophole.
Okay.
But all in all, the two who are married must take responsibility.
Okay.
They must be able to fix issues that come either from their families and just be one, be united, and fix them.
All right. You were going to finances.
Yes. Here is a couple. Probably both are working. When they divorce, is each one
For himself.
for himself, for herself? If your salary is low, you feel the pinch. Not only that, if you have one house, who is going to pay rentals? Maybe the courts may rule that this house belongs to the children. Or they may rule that, okay, you sell the house and share. Or just share the house if it's a 4-bedroom house. This
So I guess 2 rooms.
2 rooms, 2 rooms. Each one for himself, go in that house, go. So there is a financial strain when a marriage breaks down. The sharing of assets, the farms, the vehicles, houses, because you have divorced.
Yeah.
And you cannot just say, okay, these things will be for both. You are going to share. So here you are just one house. From nowhere, you become a tenant. You are a landlord. Also, financial obligations to your children are shared. Okay, you have 4 children, you take care of these 2. You take care of these 2. And if the children are younger, they may opt to stay with the mother.
It's obvious.
It's very obvious. And it's up to the man now, by order of the court, to support the wife because she's keeping children. So even when you make an emotional decision as a husband, know that you feel the pinch.
You'll be running 2 homes.
You'll be running 2 homes, supporting your wife and children until a certain age, and meanwhile you decide to remarry. And where you remarry, you are going to find the children. Maybe they are school-going children. You are supporting these children and this. You are just messed up. But there are some people who don't care. Once they divorce, they even run away from parental responsibilities. It could be a wife who goes away, leaving the whole burden to the husband, or to the wife. So life is so painful when you divorce.
Okay, we have seen a situation where because they don't want the children to really see that there is a crack in this home, logically they are separated, logically they are divorced, but they still choose to stay together in the bedroom. The other one is taking another room, the other one is taking another room, and all that. Would you think in the meantime that would be the best solution for a couple?
Well, that is very cosmetic, depending on the age of children. They are able to tell. Even a 4 years boy or girl will tell, I have a grandson.
Okay.
Who knows where I should sleep from?
Children of nowadays.
Yes,
yeah.
but I'm going to sleep with mom, you go and sleep with the grandma. Children know these things. So when you just say, okay, for the sake of children, let's just share bedrooms. You go in that bedroom, you live in that bedroom. Children have questions. They have questions. Yes, but for how long are you going to hide? If they are adults, they will know. You are even troubling them because these things are happening right in their eyes. Emotionally, they are affected.
Yeah.
They may not verbalize, but they're affected.
Affected. Well, you've done well to bring in the aspect of emotional effects that are on the children. But let me quickly move ahead of time. Today they are feeling this because they are still young and they are observing what is happening in this particular family. As time moves on, these children eventually will have to settle with a partner. Do you think the decision of their parents at the time they were going separate ways is going to lead these children to run homes that are like iron mixed with clay?
Dysfunctional homes. Well, the role model of a child is the parent.
Right.
If a parent fights,
Yeah.
they are going to copy that.
They'll think it's normal.
If parents insult, they'll think it's normal. If the parents drink beer, they think that's
a way to
normal.
go.
And when you divorce, this will stick to their mind. Dad and mom divorced. And as they grow up, some may even fear to marry because of the experience that they went through. Or when they marry, they will not care so much. After all, dad and mom, my hero and my heroine, divorced.
So who am I not
Who
to?
am I not to divorce when I'm given problems? So there is a way this thing hits back. Yeah. And also spouses will even attack each other. No wonder your mother is not staying with your father. It's because you copied these things from her.
You want to live like your mother.
Correct. So these things end up hurting the couple even when they have divorced.
All right.
So children feel the pinch.
Okay.
Financial burden is there.
It's there, right.
Yes.
In the society that we live today, especially today, people say anything, anyhow. On social media, people just post anything, anyhow. And I love the saying, usually, which goes on social media to say, sometimes if I just post something randomly on social media, be it Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or any social platform, there is a way that somehow if you feel guilty, you'd think you are being attacked indirectly. And then there is that self-pity, there is this stigma that is not really coming directly to you, but you begin to think, so everyone now knows about me, and that's the reason why they are talking about that. Do you think it's an effect that one is also supposed to be wary of when they choose to go a diverse way?
Oh, yes. Right. You are married, you are with your wife.
Right.
I'm married and have my wife. We are good friends.
Yes.
Then I happen to divorce. Your wife may be reluctant to keep the friendship with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Either because I'm dead or I'm divorced, your wife will be insecure. This one who was divorced, maybe. Especially if the wife commits adultery and you are friends, there's that stigma. Even when you are divorced, maybe you are at church. Here is a divorced woman standing with a church elder or the pastor talking on something very relevant.
Yeah.
Just that standing with a married person, there is this stigma that goes, what are they talking?
Obvious.
That one is divorced. Maybe she's after my husband. Or you are a divorced man. You are talking to a married woman. The husband will be very jittery. What is he talking about to my wife? That man divorced. So there's this stigma that goes on. And in the village, once upon a time, when you are divorced, you are considered to be careless. The Lozi people, they even call such a man who was divorced as Rikwasha.
Rikwasha, yes.
And the female is called Namukuka, which has a connotation of being careless. So when you are divorced, either they look at you to be a failure, somebody who never cared for the marriage. It carries a sense of being careless when you are divorced. So that stigma can hang on the divorced. And it requires the grace of God to help you come off that shell. Otherwise, you walk with your rights. Yes, I'm innocent. My husband committed adultery, or my wife committed adultery. I'm a free man. There will be a tag.
There'll be a tag
on your life. That whether you are innocent or what, they'll say, this is a divorced man.
You brought out something that borders so much on friendship, really. You and me are friends. The moment I choose to divorce, it affects our friendship in a way. My question then is, if friendship is destroyed because of the decision I have made, don't you think friends have a role to play to ensure that me and my partner should stick together?
Yeah, your friends have a role to play. Maybe they are playing this role to help you not to divorce.
Yeah.
But the moment you divorce, you go ahead with your rights.
If at all they are rights.
If at all they are rights. Your spouse will be the first one to say, if your friend divorced, I think your friend is going to influence you. Maybe I'm going to influence you to divorce your wife as well. So automatically there will be a barrier. Maybe to be a wife who is even going to block you. I don't want your friend to be coming home. He's going to teach you bad manners. After all, he divorced. And so forth. Or maybe the husband committed adultery and the wife divorced him. And then I, who committed adultery, if I hang around with you, there will be security on the part of your wife. That you are not just a court. But
isn't it natural that women today would think men are just the same?
Yes. In terms of physical makeup, men are the same. In terms of thinking, we are different and so forth.
But we are labeled the same.
Yeah, but if we are labeled the same, then where is the grace of God?
Okay.
That is able to transform a human being. So God has ability to transform us. You cannot say because this one steals, then every male steals.
Is a thief.
That's generalization, which is not right. I think each marriage goes through its own different challenges.
I've seen a situation where if today you sit, what's the first name for your wife? Exuda. You are with your wife, Madam Exuda.
Yes.
Okay? And then you and me are friends, and I go through a certain process. Maybe I'm caught in adultery. Not really that my wife is willing to divorce me, but somehow she chooses to endure. Then you are discussing with Madam Exuda. It's Daniel and Exuda discussing.
Yes.
You are relating my situation to your wife. And eventually your wife turns.
Yeah.
And starts talking directly to you in a way that depicts you and me are the same. Why should it be like that, really, the trust? Where does it go? Is it because once the other person has a question mark, then it means even you as my friend, you have to suffer the effects? And if that be the case, is it right for you to cut ties with me?
Well, the Bible is also categorical.
Okay.
That you must choose friends carefully. birds of the same feathers
Flock together.
And the bad company corrupts. The fact that the two of us are friends, my wife will always think, since you are fallen in this rut of adultery, there is no way that I don't know your movements. Maybe you also know about my movements. My wife would think, because you are in this situation, then I am also part of it. And automatically, she will switch off. She may even force this friendship to break, even pushing you more into a tight corner. Because of your divorce, you have lost a friend. So when you divorce, you also lose friends, depending on the grounds of divorce. But if you divorce based on not having children, maybe that will not affect our relationship. It's because, well, there are no children, or maybe the parents came to take their son or daughter away.
But we do know
moral form, we always implicate the other friend. Even you as a friend will be thinking, so this is my good friend, we move together, we drink together, but this has happened. How will my friends, and not only your wife, but even other people, the churchmates, the workmates, how are they going to relate to me? They may actually implicate me to the same challenge.
All right, Doc, let's take our last break. And when we return, I just want us to consider the health aspect really, but also maybe personal effects, in as much as we have talked about what the community gets to receive out of it, but what does, what happens to me as an individual in terms of my health, and just my emotional state as an individual. But that will be a discussion after the break. Love therapy is your dose for today as we are discussing the effects of divorce on generally everything around the divorced people. After this discussion, I want to believe that if you have been thinking in the direction of divorce, these reasons that we have shared so far should give you reason enough to choose wisely your choice. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for still staying with us. This is Love Therapy, the dose for today, effects of divorce. And we have already shared a number of insights on what really happens. Is there hope? It's a question we are going to ask later. But for now, Doc, yes. I need us to really look into the health aspect. I'm bringing this health aspect because I have seen people who are divorced. If I rush to talk about divorce, maybe I am even talking too much. People in a relationship, they are just boyfriend and girlfriend, and when they choose to part ways, the one who feels was unjustly treated, they undergo a lot of stress, emotional stress, to a point where we've seen people even committing suicide. Well, others have not died, but they have attempted. And now I am thinking we have been sharing a house together, sharing responsibilities, and this person maybe is the one that would help you in an event that you are stuck mentally. You needed somebody to come through when you have a situation. Your husband comes through, your wife comes through, and for some reason, regardless of what led to the divorce, they just choose to go and you remain all by yourself, does that affect your mental well-being? Does it take a toll on your health? If it does, at what degree?
Admittedly, divorce takes a toll on your health. You cannot sleep soundly.
You can't.
When you are going through a divorce.
Even when you are not the cause.
Even when you are not the causer. You'll be asking yourself, what haven't I done to this friend of mine that I deserve such
a treatment?
Why am I divorced? Am I not a man enough? Am I not a woman enough? Those questions come. They linger in your head. And you'll be there looking at what is society thinking about me. You'll be there feeling low self-esteem. Stress comes in. Sometimes you even grow fat. Not that because there's good food, but because of stress. Depression sets in. Sometimes you just need a counselor to sit you down, to accept things that are beyond your power. So, divorce has a health effect on the life of anyone divorcing, whether innocent or guilty. So, you will not sleep soundly. You have nightmares. Here's a person you have lived with maybe 20 years or 30 years. From maybe other grounds, someone simply says, I'm walking out of your life. You have labored together. You have had investments together. You have put up mansions. And from nowhere, that which you labored for, you start sharing. Thinking about children. And then you also think, so this fellow is going to get another person. So someone is going to replace me. So I'm not worthy living. Some think of taking their lives. So it's a painful situation to go through divorce. And when someone has been divorced, it's up to the church, up to friends, up to society to build and provide care to such a person. Because life is not the same.
It's not the same.
They are real traumatic, especially depending on the cause of divorce. Because causes of divorce will have a certain degree of effect on you. If you are divorced because you are caught in adultery with your stepdaughter, or you are divorced because you went out with a partner, your friend's partner, or you are divorced because you did A, B, C, D. So depending on the degree that brought about that divorce, also the effects will be just overwhelming. However, there are certain grounds of divorce that may even make you happy. Maybe you were a bully, you were battering your spouse, and finally the police arrest that person. But even that, there will be flashbacks once upon a time in your life. You say,
I'm loving,
I caused this pain.
I'm loving the fact that you have brought in the aspect of flashbacks. But we know oftentimes that the one who feels is innocent, for example, if the woman is innocent, the causer of the problem is the man, that the woman chooses to say, go your way, it is all right. Or the man is innocent and says, please go your way, I don't need you. We love to act as though we don't actually care, as though you don't feel the pain, to show the world that well, you don't actually care. But then oftentimes, especially in the advent of social media, people find it easy to freely say anything they want against the other gender when they feel this one is the one that is in the wrong. Would we say at that particular time somebody is undergoing a serious mental stress that needs quick attention from counselors and maybe the medical fraternity?
Yeah, especially when the divorce has just taken place. The one affected should seek help, because that's a critical period. Probably when it has just happened, maybe there's this rationalizing. After all, I've had enough of this. It's better he or she moves out of my life. But as days go by, you sit back and you see how life has changed on you. That's when you start thinking, even though we divorced, I wished we could be together. And there are some couples who have gone that route. They have separated, I don't need you, go your way. But as they go back, they look back, they reflect on their issues. They think of children. Maybe children are the ones who are pushing. Daddy, what is this? Come home, Daddy. Mommy, come back. And when the two look back, they just come back together. And
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. And move on.
So if they realize it's fine.
They realize now, I think we have made the wrong decision. Yeah, we have messed up, but let's come and pick up broken pieces and move on with the family. So those are few moments.
Few moments, yeah.
Because sometimes we take life so easy. Okay, let me, without looking down upon female folk, here's a man who is doing everything. Changing tire is the husband. From nowhere, okay, buying electricity is the husband. Any small thing, honey, where you come and fix the sink, come and do this, come and do this. These small things. Or it could be the wife, not looking down upon men. Here's the wife who is cooking, who is looking at what will cook today, what of tomorrow, spreading the bed, sweeping the house. And from nowhere you are alone. Shoes are for 24 pairs are everywhere. Socks are everywhere. And things are just upside down. That's when you realize the value of your wife. Like, oh, she had all these enormous tasks around her. I can't do without her. I think I've gone astray. I need her back.
That is a positive aspect, but we know often that it's not easy to swallow your pride. A number of times we've seen people who just say, okay, let it just be. Does society have a role to play in remedying this effect, especially if one has taken a thought about it, but then they don't have the courage to come and say, no, my husband, I think I was wrong. Can't we reconcile? I'm asking this at a backdrop where I don't know if you've heard a story where it's not really a story, but a situation where you are on the same bed and you're not talking to each other because of a difference, and then this one is facing the other side, the other one is facing the other side, and deep down their minds, somebody is saying, how I wish she would just come and touch me, and the other one would also think the same.
But
no one is telling the other. But then the other aspect has always said to somebody would boldly come and say, look here, you and me are not talking, but our paths need each other. Let's not deny them the opportunity to see each other and all that. So usually it's the pride, the ego in me. How do we help such a situation?
I think that's where we need communication in a home.
Okay.
I don't know what you are thinking. I'm not a prophet.
Okay.
She's not a prophetess. So why not just open up, talk, this thing, than keeping things to yourselves and yet you want conjugal rights. It's important if you are apart in your mind, even when you feel sexy, that won't work for you. I think love making is more of the mind.
Okay.
So the two of you should resolve those issues and move together. In fact, there are many homes that are divorced but staying together. Psychologically divorced. They are just there for the sake of children and property and society. If we go separate ways,
They'll laugh at us.
they'll laugh at us. After all, I'm a pastor, I'm a church elder, I'm a deacon, I have this responsibility, or maybe at my workplace, they require me to be with my spouse, or maybe you are the president, where is the first lady? You just do that for formality. But all in all, divorce has its effect. One other effect, by the way, Bright, is the effect of step parenting.
Okay.
When you divorce and you are still alive to the fact that you are sexually active, one day you may think of remarrying. And you already have 4 children. When you remarry, you are going to marry a lady who may have 3 children. You have now a responsibility of increasing your family finances. That is 7 children. How are you going to manage? So step parenting issues come in because you were married before. You may not go and marry a young lady who has no child or a man who has no child. You are going to have this step parenting dynamics coming in. And more also, in the side effects of divorce, you have a blame game where you're always blaming yourself. Because you caused this would not have happened. So it's up to each family to count the costs of divorce. It has lasting effects on the life of anyone that is divorcing. And this is why it's important as a couple. Never you think you are married to a wrong person. That is the thing, no, this one is not good. My friend, in Bemba they say, Inanda
Wakumba umtenge.
They just admire the roof.
They don't know what is
You
inside.
don't know what is under the carpet.
It's
under the
boiling.
roof. It's boiling. It's a burning bush.
Yes.
So the best is brighten the corner where you are.
Oh yeah.
Make life easier for yourself. You know we have so many stresses.
Too much.
You go for work, there's stress.
Reach home.
On the road, traffic jam.
Traffic jam is even better, but in an event that somebody blocks you, I saw that it should be yesterday morning. The woman just vented out her anger, and I was like, oh my God, this woman needs redemption because it's too early to behave like that. But anyway, that's the dynamics of life. We go through a lot.
And then you want to go home and put all your burdens behind.
Yeah.
Relax, take off your shoes, sit back, watch television, talk to your children, talk to your family. That should be the place where husband and wife should find comfort and peace. But even when home it's worse, then
you have nowhere to go.
At work it's worse. The economy is worse. So where do you turn?
Nowhere.
People think of suicide as a solution.
Yeah.
So we are saying to those married people, marriage is what you want to make it.
Okay.
There are times also when married people want to change their partners. No, you should behave this way, you should behave this way. No.
You can't change.
You can't change a human being. Sometimes you have to endure, tolerate, take the person the way he is, the way she is. You can't change temperament sometimes. And the worst thing about divorce, you tend to lose faith in God. You are asking God, my Father, why have you allowed this situation? I was well respected, I was well married, I have children, we have good cash, but this thing that has come, Lord, where are you?
Yeah.
Some stop going to church for fear that everyone will be talking about them. When someone is laughing, you think they're laughing about you. You get into isolation mood. You lose faith in God. You start blaming God for your own issues.
Yeah, unfortunately, Doc, time says we should end here.
Yes.
But quickly, your concluding remarks as we end the program.
As we think about divorce, I want to urge our viewers out there, count the cost. Divorce is costly. Where you can forgive each other and begin life afresh, that's the best option. However, this does not mean you must be in a fiery furnace. You want to die because of marriage. That again, I would not encourage. If things are not working for you, separation will give you a break. But by all means, you must know that every marriage goes through some turbulences. And divorce must be the last resort. This is why, as Christians, when we have problems, we know where to go.
Amen.
In Matthew 11:28, the Bible says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." God has the ability to give us rest, to give us peace. In Psalm 127, verse 1, the Bible says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain that build it." If you are building without God, you are building in vain. Divorce must be the last resort.
Divorce must be the last resort. It has been stated here, it has serious effects that would damage families as well as individuals. I pray and believe that you have learned quite a lot on this program, which would help you and those around you. Share the information so that we are going to keep stronger societies that are united. We're back next week at the same time. I'm Bright Sinkozi on behalf of Dr. Daniel Chuunga, my guest, and on behalf of the entire production team. God bless and thank you for your time.